So I believe we can get started then. I hope there is no background noise from my end, right?
No.
Okay. So hi everyone, welcome to this 7th day into the machine learning made simple marathon that we have, which is going to be 14 days more. Sorry, 7 days more. That is including today's. And today we have Ms. Navita Konur, who will be talking about the logistic regression. And for now, I'll give you 2 minutes, 5 minutes. I think that should be sufficient for talking about the competition. I think, Yulia, over to you now.
Yes, hello everybody. Thank you so much for coming today. You are almost rock stars of data science, and today we are starting the last week. We miss only 4 or 5 sessions, I think, and only 4 days till the competition deadline. And I would like to remind to everybody, please go ahead. Don't be afraid. The tasks are quite simple, not very simple, but I'm sure you can do it. And of course, you can ask us about the help. You can ask Soham and all speakers if you have some questions, if you have some questions according to the problem solving. And now I just would like to remind you what you can get from this competition. So I will share the information that you already saw before. But I think it's good to remind everybody one second, please, just 1 minute. So now we're in the middle of our marathon and our competition. So if you made the first task, so you're already in the second task, and you can start with the build your own model manually, the third task. And I would like to remind you that everyone who will participate in this competition, even you cannot to get the best results, but if you do the all tasks, so you can get the official certificate from us, from Newton, about introduction of machine learning and Newton AutoML as a tool. So please don't be afraid, just try, you can do it. And of course, the top 10 will get the prizes from our sponsor, the books about machine learning and artificial intelligence. The main prize, I would like to remind that it's a premium subscription to the Newton AutoML platform. And as you remember from the first session from Guru from Silicon Valley for you, the top 3 participants will get the special privileges in the Silicon Valley industry programs. So please, I wish you to win, to everybody, of course, and please go ahead, don't be a friend, don't be afraid, you can do it. And now I would like to pass the turn to Soham, please. You can start, because today is a very exciting day and very interesting program.
Yeah, sure. So I think we are good to go on that part. I mean, like we already have so many submissions from so many people for the second task, but I think we need to get more of them for sure. So all of you do participate in it. And as Julia said, there are a lot of rewards on it. And yeah, do get started on that. So now we'll move on to getting started with the logistic regression part, on the theoretical part. So over to you now, Namita.
Thank you so much.
And you can let me know once you are able to share your screen.
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Okay. So good evening all. Good evening participants. Good evening Yulia and team. And before I start, I would like to thank Newton AI for providing this opportunity and having collaboration with us to explore many opportunities and computation for all the data scientists, data science enthusiasts. Okay, so this competition will help you a lot, and also whatever we are teaching, a slight part of it, or like whatever is related, like EDA or models, what we are learning today will help you a lot for to participate in competitions. Okay, so a very good evening once again. Let's start today's topic, that is logistic regression. Okay, so before I start, I would like to share my screen. Can you give me the access to share this screen? Post disable attendee screen share.
Yulia, can you make her, allow her to share the screen?
Ilya, could you do this because you are the host now?
Sure, give me a moment. Okay, could you please try?
Yes. Yeah, I can share.
Awesome. Let's get started.
Yeah. Can you all see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes, we do. All the best.
Thank you. Okay. So today we'll be learning about logistic regression. Before I start logistic regression, let us see what all we are going to learn today. We are going to learn first what is regression, then why we are using logistic regression, and what do you mean by that, and what is the difference between linear regression and logistic regression with a lot of examples. Okay. So as we had session on September 30th and October 1st by Pallav about linear regression, where he has described model in practical session, as well as he has explained with one problem also what is regression, what is best fit, what is R square, right? Hope you all remember it, correct? But we'll be giving you a slight introduction about it, just a recap on it. Okay. So basically, regression, we use it for prediction. Okay, that is called as a predictive modeling technique, which we predict like a lot of data. So example, like stock prices, we predict the weather forecast reports based on the continuous data. We'll be predicting based on the best fit model. Okay. So what does regression mean is it estimates the relationship between two variables. That is, one is dependent variable and one more is independent variable. So here dependent variable is called as a target variable and independent variable is called as a predictor. Okay. So as you can see a pics of data prediction using linear regression, you can see everywhere it is. The line best fit model has gone through different kinds of origins and values, where first, if I'm going here, this is a house, the value of the house prediction. Okay, so this points denotes the best fit model for house prediction, as well as here the price of the apple or orange, the whatever is the prices going on ahead from 1980s to 2020, we can predict what might be the price through regression. And also this is one of the stock prices where the market ups and downs can be seen in the predictive model. Now, when you understand this linear regression model by prediction with the best fit line, let us see how this logistic regression works. Okay, logistic regression has two options. Okay, through binary categorization. So that will be either pass or fail, yes or no, A or B. You don't have many options because linear regression deals with continuous data, whereas the logistic regression deals with the binary categorical data. So here you have the option of either it is 0 or 1. Okay, let's see all in detail, not to worry, but simple in general. If you have to understand without the background of mathematical models, we can say that either there's two options for you, pass or fail, true or false, yes or no, A or B. So this logistic regression helps us to categorize the data. It will not help us in continuous data, it will help us to categorize the data and help us to build the model. Okay, let's go to the examples and look into that. Okay. Hope you can see my screen. This one, whiteboard. Yes.
Yes, we can see that.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Now, today, before I start the practical thing, so here let me explain you why this algorithm is required. Why this algorithm? Okay. Now, for that, I would like to explain with one of the problem statement. Here, the problem statement is always we deal with the problem statements to decide what is to be taken as a decision, yes or no, right? So here, I'll be taking two decisions. That is, one is obeys and one is not obeys. Okay. Here, I'm going to categorize people. Okay. The people above 75 are obeys. The people below 75 are not obeys. Okay. This is the problem statement I'm going to explain with you. Now, how we have to use this algorithm? Let's see the example. Now, for example, you take the graph which says this is x-axis and this is y-axis. Okay. So here, as the categorization is done on obeys and not obeys, right? Only two things. So I'll take here, this is not obeys and this one as obeys. Okay. For example, as it is binary classification, I'll give it as here as 1 and 0. Okay. So I'll just mark here some values. Here there are some values. Okay. And from here also there are some values. Okay. Now, what is my condition? 75. Okay. Around here it is somewhere we have 75 kgs of weight. Now, the condition says if it is more than 75, then that should come under obeys, right? So, to identify that, what we used to do it in linear regression is we used to draw the straight line of which is a best fit. Now, how do I arrive at straight line is we have an equation which is called as y is equal to mx plus c, where m is what? M is the slope and c is the intercept and x is called as the data points what we are using. Okay, so these x are the data points which we are using it here. Now, when I say the data points, as you have heard about linear regression, that is the distance between the summation of distance between these points and the straight line should be minimal, that then it is called as a line of best fit. Okay, I repeat again, the summation of distance between the points, that is these points, okay, the data points and the straight line should be minimal, then only it is called as a best fit line for a regression. Okay, and also y is equal to mx plus c, where m is slope and x is data points and xc is the intercept. Now this can also be denoted as in some textbooks they write it as h theta of x is equals to theta naught plus theta 1 of x. Also beta naught plus beta 1 of x. Okay, or in some simple textbooks y is equal to a plus bx. Okay, so these are the notations they'll be using it for the explanation. Now here what I'll do is I draw best fit line. Okay, so my best fit line will be somewhere here. Okay, now when this best fit line is here, now let me check for my obeys and not obeys categories. Now here if it is 75, okay, so 75, if I join the line here where it is coming, if it is, this is half means this is 0.5, so here somewhere around 0.1 it is coming. Okay, so which is less than the 0.5 which comes as the category of not obeys. Now assume that here it is 85 kgs. Okay, when I say 85 kgs, my line meets at here point, that is 0.5, means it is 0.5. If we have the condition, let us write a condition. If it is 0.5 is y is greater than or equals to 0.5, then the people fall in the category of obeys. If y is less than or equals to 0.5, then the people fall in the category of not obeys. Okay, so here when I say that when it is y is greater than or equal to 0.51, that is coming under the category of obeys. Now simply I'll take here one more value. Assume this is 50 kgs. Okay, so 50 kgs, if I have to draw, it will come down because this can be extended. It cannot come up because here there is no line of best fit. Suppose if I take this 60, okay, I can draw here which comes under not obeys exactly. Now, what I'm making you understand is here I'm easily classifying if the line meets the point, once the cages meets the point at the 0.5 or more than 0.5, then I categorize it into obese. And the points which come below 0.5, those are called as not obese. So here there is very clear-cut classification based on the linear regression that I can classify the things. Correct. Now, why this logistic algorithm is required? Correct. Because here I can easily classify which is obese, which is not obese. Actually, what I said is we have to classify the data, yes or no, true or false, or based on the data categorically, we have to define the data. But here in linear regression, I'm able to do that. Correct. So, what I'm saying is, now how come this logistic regression occurred? There are some errors. Let us look into that. Now, I hope you all understood in linear regression, you were able to categorize the data into given problem statement. That was very easy in the line of best fit, and you decided the value. And based on the 0.5, then below 0.5, you categorized it as not obese or obese. Okay. Now, let me move the screen a little bit. Okay. So here, the same diagram I'll draw. X and then Y. Okay. Now, I guess you also know there will be one outlier, correct? There are some values which go above the range, correct? So, here there is one value which is obese, and here it is 0, which is not obese. Okay. So, here are our values as the same diagram I'm drawing, and here are some of the values. Okay. Now, if there is some outlier here and my best fit line is here, okay, there is an outlier and which I have to join. Okay. Now, please you see that what happened here is the point, suppose it is around 100 kgs. Okay. The point where it went above 1. So, the condition here is y has been increased, it is greater than 1. Okay. And some point, if this is extended also, if I get any 10 kgs of weight, then it comes in the negative value. How will I categorize that? This doesn't fall under 0 and 1, correct? I cannot categorize it under 0 and 1 because my conditions, my outliers are going above 1 and below 0. So here negative value is coming and here 1 is positive value, more than 1 it is coming. But what this logistic regression says, it is a binary classification. Binary classification means it should be 0 or it should be 1. So this is one of the limitations to use linear regression. Okay. So here what happens, due to this outlier, we will not be able to categorize the data into 1 or 0. So this is one of the limitations which we are going to introduce, the logistic regression. And one more outline is this thing is like either it is negative value or less than 0. So here what happens, you can see the data is in the form of S curve, which is nothing but the sigmoid curve. Here it is not in the straight line, it is in the sigmoid function curve. So those are the two limitations for which we cannot use the linear regression. The outlier part and the value where we have to classify is not coming under 0 and 1. Okay, either it is negative or either it is positive. Okay, I hope till this you people have understood how the linear regression is having limitations. To solve that, it has come the name as logistic regression. Okay, I hope till now it is clear. Now let me come to the mathematical model of the logistic regression. How this logistic regression came. Now, why you may be thinking why this girl is like explaining all the theory. Yes, it is important. Now, if you understand the concept of theory, means whatever is going on the model and how the model has come to the decision, then it will be very easy for you to write the code and run it as a model. You have to build a model here, and this model will be used for a lot of iterations for your problem statements. Okay, that's what I am going to explain it in detail. Now, let me come towards the logistic regression. So, in logistic regression, the name here again regression is there. Means in the regression, but I told you that it will be used for the prediction model. So here also logistic regression will help us to identify the prediction. Now we have two intuition how this logistic regression has arrived. One is geometric intuition and one more is mathematical intuition. Okay, so these are the two intuitions with which the model has been built. Now you may be remembering in your boards or 10th standard or UC where you have learnt all this geometry, analytical geometry or mathematics where you can understand the concepts. You have studied it, might be you have forgotten it, no issues, the same concept is here. There is nothing new in the part of logistic regression. So all are the old school books only. Okay, so usually what happens in logistic regression, we apply it for the categorization, that is two classification possibilities. Logistic regression is applied for two classification possibilities. And you may ask me, only two? How about more multi-class? Yes, it is used. I'll come to that also. Now let us understand the two classification first. Okay, it is usually applied to the two classification possibilities where they can be linearly separable. Now again, I'll take the example. Okay, these are the x-axis and y-axis is the plane surface where 0 is the origin. Now what I'll do is I'll draw a linearly separable line from the origin. I'll not use red color, I'll use black color. Okay. And here what I'll do is I will draw some values. Means these values are already identified and they are here. And this is blue. Means why I am writing it in blue color, because you have to identify which is two values. Means there are two characteristics which we have to, two categories which we have to make it separable. Okay, and here there are some. Okay, now here this 0 is origin. Okay, and this from origin there is a best fit model line is drawn. Now this line what it does is it separates two categories here, two classification categories. Now let us assume this blue values are positive values, this red values are negative values. Okay, now why I am dividing the straight line, because as you know the mathematical model says that the summation of the distance of the points and the straight line should be minimal. So these are the summation of these points and the straight line drawn here are minimal. Now here blue points are given it as, okay, this blue points I have given it as positive value which is +1, and the red one which is I have derived it as negative values which is -1. Clear about this? I have drawn a graph and I have categorized two things, that is one is blue and red with positive and negative. And there is a blue, but there is a fit line which is passing through the origin. And you all know the equation of the straight line is y is equals to mx plus c, where m is the slope intercept, c is the intercept, and x is called as the data points, which I have denoted as x only. These are called as data points. Now, when the line is the graph, in the graph it is the best fit model is passing through origin. When it is passing through origin, your intercept will be 0. Okay, here the best fit model, the line is crossing through origin, so your intercept will be c is equals to 0. Okay, so now when I am explaining this, I would like to take you back to the school where you have studied the straight line. Okay, so let me explain you here. Suppose this is one plane surface, okay, and there are points, and this is a point. So here the distance, this distance between the straight line and the plane, okay, this point and this thing which we are going to calculate, that is what distance should be minimal. So here the distance between point and the straight line, whatever point, the surface, the plane surface above the line, if the points are here, then these are called as positive values. If they are below the surface here, if there is somewhere point here, and these are called as negative values. Okay, That is the concept in analytical geometry where a plane surface area where there is a distance joint. This is called as a distance, okay, distance between the 2 points. Whereas the plane surface above the area are called as positive points, whereas plane surface below the area is called as negative. Here, that is what is the done. There is a difference where the line which separates the blue values are positive, which separates the red value are negative. Now, when I said that your equation y is equal to mx plus c and c is equals to 0, so your equation becomes mx plus c divided by unit vector of m. When I use this unit vector of m, that is nothing but mx plus c divided by 1. Now, here we have c is equals to 0. So, y is equals to mx only remains. Now, why I am taking this mx? Because here this value is m. Okay, the straight line has the slope intercept m. This has a coefficient value. Whatever value it is, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, any value is merged with that or attached to that. Okay, so whatever passes will be always the multiplication of m into x. Now, there might be many points, right? So this is only one point I have explained. There might be many points. When that is many points, then that we give it as an equation as summation of I is equals to 1 to n, whereas mi into xi means many values of m and I. That is how it is designed. That is told. Means we used to do, I guess, if you have learned analytical geometry, the distance between straight line formula was always x2 minus x1 or y2 minus y1 whole square, and then root of it we will be finding out, right? So in that case, here that is just a simple equation, y is equal to mi into xi. Now, the positive will be the slope. Positive value will be the this one. So positive is the above the plane surface is positive and below the plane surface is negative. Now, here to explain this, I would like to take 3 case scenarios. Okay, the same diagram. I just write down 3 case scenarios. So, first case 1. In case 1, I have defined yi is positive when it is having value as plus 1. Okay, and also I define yi is equals to negative, which is nothing but minus 1. Here I am not talking about 0 and 1. Please don't get confused with 0 and 1. It is positive 1 and minus 1. I'll come to 0 and 1 at the last of the derivation. So yi is equal to positive, which is plus 1. Yi is equals to negative minus 1. We got to know this based on the equation, and we got to know the equation y is equal to mx based on the derivation mx plus c divided by unit vector m, whereas unit vector means it is called as 1 and c is passing through the origin, so c is 0 and left out is y is equal to mx. Now, here in case 1, I have to find out the distance between. I am talking about these positive points because it is this one I am talking. The y is equal to positive. So here, when y is equals to plus 1, your distance between 2 points, okay, your distance between 2 points, that is y is equals to m1 x1. Okay, 1 point. I'm just talking about this point. m1 and x1 is always greater than 0. It is getting easily classified because plus 1 multiplied by any x values will be positive only. So it is distance between 2 points y is equal to m1, x1 is greater than or equal to 0. So it is easily classified. If I have to speak about case 2, that is y is negative. So that is nothing but y is equals to minus 1. So what happens here is the distance between the 2 points y is equals to m1 x1 is less than or equals to 0. Why less than or equals to 0 is, suppose here I am taking the point, this one. Okay, this is negative. x1 is negative. What is y? Y is also negative, minus 1, right? So minus 1 multiplied by negative will be always positive. So here, I'm very sorry. Here it is negative value. Y is equal to m1 x1, which is less than 0. Nothing but you have negative value. Means one is positive and one is negative. If you multiply by that, that will be, I'm very sorry, y is equal to minus 1 and y is equal to m into x less than 0. So here this value is already negative, and whatever value multiplied by less than 0 will be always negative because less than 0 is nothing but negative. So here when you multiply negative value and negative value, the value becomes positive. I repeat, because I've created a confusion here. Here we have a point, okay, this X point. So this, what I have defined, the surface area which is having less points, means the below points are called as negative points. Now, when I define that y is equal to -1, when I multiply with this negative and this negative, it becomes positive, as simple as this. The next and last case 3. Here, y is equals to -1. Okay, and the 2 points, means why I am taken this point is, you can see here there are red points over here, means these are outliers, or these are the points in blue surface. There are some negative values have also come, and here also you can see there are some positive value have also come. Okay, for such instances I am writing the third case, y is equal to -1, that is here the distance between m1 x1 is greater than 0, and y multiplied by -1 multiplied by positive value will be negative. So y into m1x is less than 0. So this will be the case 3. Means here if it is 1 is negative and multiplied by positive value, it will be negative. Okay. So these are the 3 conditions where we have to understand why this negative values are mixed and positive values are there and separate negative values are there. Okay. So these are the 3 case scenarios. Now, when we are understanding the plane surface and the points here and they're flowing off, you may also have lot of outliers also, a lot of points also. Why I'm telling this? Because see, this was best fit line from the 0. You may be also having the best fit line here also, the best fit line here also, the best fit line here also. There are a lot of lines also possible. So what happened, due to this logistic regression derivation, there were a lot of chances where we could have missed the points. So for that, we came with one of the cost function. That is, the cost function says you have to check. Now you cannot see that case 1 or negative or case 2 positive or again negative. So it is maximum value of summation of I is equals to 1 to n yi, mi and xi. The multiplication of y, m and x, all these 3 should be max, then only your problem will be correct. So this is what has been decided. So the summation of all the points along with the distance should be maximum. Then you can focus on building a straight line with all the parameters to be updated. The updated on this coefficient have the maximum of a summation, where you can have positive means it is +1, whereas negative means you have -1. So still this is not exactly optimizer. Now how this equation gets modified? Let's see. Now this was the equation framed. So there was one more example we will take. Here I just take a simple model here, and here I just take 4 values, and here I just take 4 values. Okay. Now here when I'm taking this side, because it is a surface, again you are having the derivation the above the surface and below the surface where it is origin. Assume here this is positive and here it is negative. Okay, so there is a linear separable line in the best fit and there are points here. Now there is one outlier here. Okay, there is one outlier here. As I told you in the first, there will be one outlier which the logistic regression will be solving it. Now let's see how it will solve with all the possibilities. Now when I say this positive values, okay, here assume that this distance is 2, this distance is 2, and this distance is 2, and this distance is 2, and they are positive. Now when I say these are negative, this is -2, this distance is -2, and this distance is -2, and this distance is -2. And assume that this outlier value is 500. Okay, there is a big outlier and there is a 500 value. Okay, this is a outlier. Probably you may get you are doing a research on restaurant, okay, and everybody has written very good taste, and around 10 or 50 members would have written the ambience is not good, or there is a problem in the taste, everything they'll write. So there will be outliers in every problem statement. So we have to be careful while building a model about these outliers. Now how this derivation exists is, when what we have given the condition in cost fraction, if all the points which yi, mi, xi should be added, then if you get maximum of that, then that is called as the best fit logistic regression model. Now let us do the summation. Now I have the points here 2, 2, 2 and here also minus 2. As it is negative value, so what I'll do is 2 plus 4 2s are there. Okay, summation of that. And as it is minus 2, okay, and minus into minus, that as it is in the negative outlier, so it will be plus 2, 4 2, 1 more 2, and minus, because this is the outlier with negative, there is no this thing, so it is minus 500, which comes as minus 4, okay, 2 2 4 6 8 10 12 14 16, 16 minus 500, I'll just take it as 20, I write an assumption of 480, or it might be 484, okay, minus. Now what happened, my whole prediction went to negative, there is minus 484. But I'm not expecting this answer because of one outlier, my answer should not be wrong, correct? I have to get the positive value where I should defend that my problem statement has the lines with separable and these are the characteristics for the classification. Now, what to do? I'll do is I'll draw one more line, it's best fit line. I'll try for that. Okay, this is the line. When I draw this line, I'm making this 500 positive here. Okay, so when I again operate at this distance, okay, so I'll be again operating with the summation and then I'll be adding 500. So at that time, I will be getting, because this becomes minus at that time and this becomes plus, so y is equal to 0 plus this positive value, assume this is 2. So this becomes 2. So 2 is your value. Now, when my best fit line changed from this direction to this direction, I got the value positive. Whereas when there was a given problem itself, the linear separable line, it was not positive, and which I was getting minus 484. So this kind of problem led for sigmoid function. So what did they do? This summation problem was not solving the problem. So what they did arrive is, they arrived for the sigmoid function, which is, they added for this cost function maximum of f, which is summation of I is equals to 1 to n yi into mi into xi. So function was added, which this function was called as sigmoid function. Or as in some other textbooks also, they have given it as, it is applied logistics. Means log has been applied. That's what it is also called as logistic regression. Log has been applied and the equation becomes, you will see that the equation will be sigmoid function is given by 1 divided by 1 plus e raised to minus z. Now why do I write as z is nothing but the same summation of I is equal to 1, the f of yi into mi into xi. And I forget maximum, so this is maximum. So this z I am replacing it with e raised to minus z. This whole cost function, what I am doing is I am doing it in the equation of 1 divided by 1 plus e raised to minus z, whereas e raised to minus z is the epsilon 2.71 so 2.17 value and minus z will be the value. So you will get a curve something like this. Now you have the equation where this is origin and this is 1, where your curve will be like this. This is the sigmoid and this is 0.5 is the threshold value, where here you have positive value, here you have negative values, but this 0 and 1 are the two binary classification for the logistic regression. Whatever outlier it might be, whatever the positive values or negative values, it has to be derived under binary classification, that is 0 and 1. So this value will transform, this e raised to minus z, this value will transform the value from 0 to 1, where you can easily classify how it can be done. I hope you can also say in the interviews or in the any question asked on logistic regression, where you'll be explaining 1 divided by 1 plus e raised to minus z. How that value arrived is based on the straight line, that is the summation of distance of 2 points between the straight line where the plane surface we decide the above line as positive and below line as positive. When we decide, there will be some positive and negative values mixed, and there will be 3 different types of cases where we define y is equal to positive, y is equal to negative, and one more is y where the mixed points are there. When we classify that, then what happens is we got the equation of maximum of yi, mi, xi. When I started applying that formula in the total, in the given statement, what happens is our values go highly negative, which has not at all the answer. So to clarify that, to transform that equation, the sigmoid function curve was explained, and this is how it arrived at 1 divided by 1 plus e raised to minus z. And this will solve our problem. Now, when I say 1 divided by 1 plus e raised to minus z, the code which we write for the model, the equation will be taken for this, and that will be explaining the model. Okay, so this is all about the 2 classifications, what we have dealt now. So now, let me quickly clear this and let me move to multi-class classification, because that is also important, right? We cannot classify because we don't have problem statements only of 2 categories. There will be very less, we have 2 categories in lot of problem statements where we have to use multi-class classification with the help of logistic regressions. I hope I'm boring you, please don't mind, but you have to listen to this because this is the last concept of multi-class classification. Okay, now this multi-class logistic regression is also called as one versus rest, and also it is called as one versus all. Okay, so these are the 2 names they use it for multi-class classification, and when you are using the code, they use it as OVR. Okay, that if that code is used, then you can easily classify the multi-class classification. Now, if I have to categorize 2 classification, okay, this is one x-axis and y-axis. Now, this is the best fit I'm classifying. So here I have some variables, and here I have some different variables. I'm not using the same because these are 2 class classifications. Okay, now what is happening? I explained the till now. There's a best fit line and linearly separable, and I can exactly classify what is green and what is blue and what are the variables if yes or no. Now, when I say multi-class, how that looks is this is x-axis and this is y-axis and this is 0. Okay. Now, here I just used 3 different colors here. This is one variable here. Okay. This is multi-class, and here I'll use blocks. Okay, these are the classes for the values here, and one more value here. Okay, so now you can understand there are 3 different types of data sets, or like 3 different types of data in one single question, and it has to be classified. Now, as I explained, there is when the plane surface is derived, this comes as positive and this comes as negative. So now you have to play with probability here. That is a thing which we have to identify based on the permutations also. Now what I'll do is first I'll keep this as plane surface. Okay, this is positive and these 2 are negative. Okay, this is one linearly separable thing. And one more, what I'll do is I'll keep this as one layer, this as positive and these 2 as negative. And this one, how I can classify? If this I keep it as 1, this is positive and these both are negative. Okay, I hope you're understanding the plane which is surface separated, 2 values I'm keeping it as negative and 1 as positive. Same way I'm doing it with all other combinations. Now, based on this, I have to arrive on the table. How do I do that? Okay, now I'll write here, these are the 3 factors, which values I have got, or these are 3 features which I have got, and I have got the values for it, I1, I2, I3, I4, I5, I6, I7, I8, I9, I10, I11, I12, then I13, I14, and I15. Okay, so these are the 3 features which we have got it in the 3 values. Now for this output also I have got, assume, okay. For this output I have got O1, O2, O3, O1, O2. Okay. And for this output, now we'll be building the model. Now, when I say, I'll just make it a bit smaller so that you can see it here. Okay. Now, here for this first one which I took. For this first one, I am building model as M1. Okay. And then second one, for this I am building model as M2. And for this I am building model as M2. I have to get 3 outputs. Now, as we have discussed the cost function, which is more greater, right? Maximum of all the values which we have to take. Okay. So for that, we will be considering 3 models. Now, whenever you write a statement or you get a model, then you should be able to decide which is the best fit model also. Correct. Now, how to decide that model, we are going to see with this example. Okay. Now, when I say the model 1 will be able to find out whether it is positive or negative, how do I do that is, here, we have 3 outputs. As we have 3 models, here we have O1, O2 and O3 are the 3 outputs. Now here it is as simple. When I say it is O1, your O1 will be positive based on the diagram I am writing. Okay, that diagram, this diagram, first one is that is positive and other 2 are negative. So this is +1 and this is -1, -1. Now when I say O2, O2 is +1 and these are -1. When I say O3, O3 is +1, these are -1. When I say again O1, O1 is positive and these are -1. And O2 is again positive and these are negative. Okay, so this is how the values will be estimated. Now, if I have to get to test the new data, means the same model, I have to test different types of data. I can put it in the same model and I can do the classification. So how I do that? Assume that model 1 has got 0.20 and M2 has got 0.25 and M3 has got 0.55. Okay, these are the probability values on which we are going to decide which is the best fit model on the logistic regression. Now 0.20, 0.25, 0.55 all gives me total of 1, which is the probability. Based on the probability, I'll be judging which is the best fit model. Now in that, which is maximum will be your best fit model. So 0.55 is the largest number and which is the best fit model for M3. So I decide M3 is chosen for the best fit model for the given statement or given problem for the multi-class classification. So in multi-class classification, what you have to do is you have to understand which are the different types of classes used. Based on that, the categorization should be done, and based on that, which is higher, you have to decide that fits the model. Okay, so this is all about multi-class classification with the help of logistic regression. Excuse me. Now, I'm coming to the slides. Slides, there is not much. I hope you have explained with you are clear with the explanation of the practical thing. Here the same Y0 linear regression, which I have explained you with the data. There will be no RS, where the linear regression cannot be used for more than 2 categories which are continuous. So we need to use logistic regression. And these are the limitations when this diagram tells about the outliers, okay, which I showed you in the first part of the explanation. Then here, I told you either it exceeds the negative value or the positive value, then the boundary value, then it comes for the data, and that helps us to derive the limitations of linear regression, and that comes for the logistic regression. And that's how the sigmoid function is derived. In directly explanation that they use Y here, B0, I explained you, MX plus C I am using the simple terminologies. Here B0 plus B1 they are used, and P of X. Okay. Then the maximum likelihood methods are also used for the equations. This is not much required. You can switch to the same sigmoid function. So these are the limitations by logistic regression, and multiple predictors is just now what I explained with multi-class classification, where 3 models and how you decide which is the probability is getting the more likelihood value. Now one more is confusion matrix, which we are going to see practically tomorrow also. What is this confusion matrix? So So here, I'll just give you this small example before I explain. See, I guess you have heard about this type 1 error and type 2 error in the hypothesis where there is a truth table where true, false, false, true will be given and reject, no, not reject will be the possibilities. Where if I have to say a little bit about that, hypothesis is a assumption. Okay, we decide in every practicality where is there a possibility or not. Suppose if I have to say that in the month of October there is a significant sales in the XYZ company. And again, in the hypothesis H naught, if I have to say it is null hypothesis, I would like to say that it is not much, there's no significant relationship between the sales and the company XYZ, whatever they are doing the promotion strategy. So here I have set an assumption for H naught as null as not and H1 as alternative, which is possibility. When I say that, we have to prove ourselves or based on the data, which hypothesis which have been set, whether that statement occurs to be true or false, that has to be explained. So for that, now if I am explaining linear regression model, I should have a problem statement which would say no and yes, correct? Because it is a binary classification. So here, for example, you can see type 1 error means false positive. You can see a man who cannot be pregnant and the doctor is telling him you're pregnant. So this cannot be true, right? So this is false positive. So this is type 1 error. And type 2 error is the lady there she is pregnant and the doctor is saying that you're not pregnant. So these are the type 1 and type 2 error, false positive and false negative. That is why it is called as confusion matrix. So here the type 1 error is false positive and type 2 error is false negative. Now if I am talking about human being, let's see about the values also. So this is the predicted default status, some assumption, some status of some value. Number is 9432, yes is 138, yes is 235 and 995. Now here, if I say this default status, which is yes and true, means 235 is not the value, but the value it is showing, it is 235. So it is false positive. Whereas here it is 138, which is predicted. Means you can understand it based on the problem statement because it's just numbers I am showing here, which we should not get the value, which it is going to get, then that is called as false negative. Sorry, false positive and false negative. Correct. So this is about the confusion matrix. It confuses a lot, don't worry. Once you understand, you will say it is false positive or false negative. Okay, and these are the performance measure, a lot of values, just don't go about it. We will see the performance measures. We have some more other people who will be explaining about all these performance measure through different types of accuracy systems and decision tree methods and random forest. These all there you'll understand in detail. Now, you may have the question, why does all have to be understood, right? Like, what is the importance, like, why we should know all these things? Yet it is difficult to understand in one stretch, but practice, it will come in. It will come as is, you can do it. Now, see, another simple example where I did the last one, that is 3 classification. There are 3 models, X1, X2, X3, theta 1, theta 2, theta 3, and I was able to derive the model which is good and which is not good. There were 2 binary classifications, one is happy and one is sad, which is simple as usual. Just keep this in mind and you can explain whole thing in any of the interviews or anyone having if you have asked the questions. Okay. So last we would like to have the difference between the linear regression and logistic regression. There might be such a differentiation or there might be question on this because linear regression is used only for continuous variable whereas logistic regression is used for categorical variables which are 0 or 1. That is a binary classification. And when linear regression solves only regression problem, but whereas logistic regression solves the classification problem. Here also, I cannot say that cannot be a classification algorithm, but it is a line of best fit. And linear regression is best fit for the straight line, whereas logistic regression is the sigmoid curve. So these are the 3 major differences which we have in linear and logistic, but they have their own advantage of their models. And through linear regression only, through that limitations, this logistic regression has been derived. Okay, so I hope my presentation would have been made clear. Okay, so if any questions I would like to take before I end up. Okay. Any questions you can ask me. Yes. Or you people did not listen to the presentation. This might help you for the interviews or the methods where we are using it. Might be you people are already using it. It not might be the new, but this will help for the classification. And then you can decide on which model can be used based on the maximum values of either in multi-class it is probability or it is in what you call in the finite classification, either it is 0 or 1, we can categorize with segment function. I'll be sending my slides and the YouTube, the video will be live in the YouTube so that you can watch again and come up with the doubts in the Slack that also I'll be able to answer.
Namita ma'am, hi. There is
Hi.
one question from Shrishti. Can you just scroll back and see it's available in the chat?
Okay.
The question is that for 0, it will be only less than instead of less than or equal to. That's what she asked about. If you could just scroll back and see if you're able to locate her message.
Okay. What if I want to solve multiple? Okay. There is one question from Subham Sinde. What if I want to solve multiple classification problem by logistic regression? As I explained you in the picture itself, logistic regression, yes, we can solve it with multiple classification, where you have to decide based on the which probability is maximum. Based on that, you can judge which year is your best model. Multiple classification in the sense it is 2 or more classification you can do. And which parameter should we have to pass is the same exactly. The probabilities which you get the maximum and the summation of that probability should be 1. So for that, you will be deciding on the based on the probability, which is more that can be considered as the best fit model in the problem statement. This is from Shubham. And still more, there are questions. Okay, I have to scroll down. Greater than and less than is misplaced, isn't it? Okay, I might be, this is in the presentation. For 0, it will be only less than instead or less than or equal to. 0 is less than or equal to, both. That's fine. Because in Srishti, this thing, when we are drawing or classification in sigmoid curve, it defines only from the 0 to 1. There it is equals to, but not less than 0. Whereas 1, there is also it is equal to. But when I was explaining through the regression model, there it comes with -1 to +1. But when I draw the when I do the sigmoid curve, it comes with a +1 and 0 and 1. But whereas in linear regression, it comes with -1 to +1. No questions, nice explanation. Thanks. Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know what happened to my end at my end, but I think there was a question with Srishti. I am not sure whether if you have answered or not.
Yeah. So just now I answered it.
Okay, perfect, great. So I hope everyone has. If anyone does has any question, do let us know. Do Namita know, and we are already up for the question answers. Namita, there is a compliment for you from Srishti.
Okay. Thank you, Srishti.
Yeah, I mean, it was very, very good. Very explanatory.
I hope you all understood the concept. But I was like totally into the concepts which you need to answer. So through the point of everything, as per point of your interview or as point of the mathematical model, I thought it would take easier. But I guess a lot of people with non-mathematical background would have got bored. Oh, I'm sorry for that. But yes, if you watch again my video, you'll be understanding it again. No issues.
Yeah, I believe it was pretty much easy to understand also. Even for someone with basic mathematics knowledge, that's that is completely understandable. That it was good, quite good.
Yeah. Thank
It
you.
was
Thank you so much.
actually really good. I really enjoyed it. I mean, you have cleared a lot of concepts for me. That will really help me to write this code from scratch for logistic regression.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, building this logistic regression from scratch is also a big deal, but I'm with you, Anu. So we'll definitely try on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good news that you understood it very clearly.
First time and very clearly.
Yeah.
Thank you, Srishti. I hope further we will get you a lot of concepts like this and we clear you all the things. This is for first presentation and we want to be successful. Thank you. Thank you for your support, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Namita, for the time. By the way, if you guys have any kind of doubt with regards to the task that we are already having, or the competition that we are going through, or you can say any other, model discussion or any other doubt that you have with related to the data science or with related to the algorithms or anything, we are up for it. Do let us know if you have any questions. I believe the explanation was again so good, like Promise, that nobody has much of the questions. That's good. That's a good point. I would like to ask you guys if you have specifically any kind of data set that you want to, try out logistic regression on. If you have any such kind of particular data set, then we can definitely go ahead and try that tomorrow. I think we'll be trying up for social network ads. Tomorrow also, we'll be applying the same model, the logistic regression on social network ads.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you guys have any other data set that you want us to put up or say code along and see which model fit the best, or I mean the logistic regression fits the best, then do let us know. We can give it a try tomorrow.
Yeah, sure.
I would like to share all of you one of the books that is very much famous and very much helpful for learning this statistical knowledge and all. I'll share it one in a minute on this chat, and later on I'll be sharing that same book on LinkedIn also. So I think everyone can utilize that. It should be with me in a minute. Yeah. So this is one of the book. I think it's loading right now. It's a big file. It's loading. Yeah, there it is. So do refer to this, and it's you can say lot of my friends and a lot of people on LinkedIn and a lot of people on say Kaggle, and many YouTubers has also recommended this book to learn from. You can get the ideas about the different algorithms from this, and you can, if in case you don't get very much clear ideas on this, I would also share with you one of the basic file, or you can say basic, repository kind of thing that has complete collection of every algorithm out there. I think Promise has also shared this with you guys, but I'll still share the link over here in the chat itself. Give me a minute. Namita, there is a question for you from Anvesh.
Anvesh, this would be used when the target variable has values either 1 or 0, right? Right, correct, Anvesh.
Yeah, so I have shared one of the basic handbook for data science, and the earlier book that I had shared was the statistical part of the data science that all the models utilize. So you guys can definitely go through this, and this should definitely help you build up the models and study more in depth about the statistical part. And apart from that, I think this book, Python Data Science Handbook, uh, when I had started just learning data science and all, this was my go-to book. You can say this is a kind of Bible for me. So you guys can definitely go through it and see how the book is. You can leave out a review on the GitHub. I think this guy Jake Vanderplas, he also has a lot of books from his end also. So do check it out. So is there any other doubt on the logistic regression or linear regression? We have promised for SCM also. If you guys have any kind of doubt, do let us know. I think no doubts. Thank you, Igor. Thank you. I think we are up for next 5 minutes more. And if there are no questions, we can definitely take your leave.
There is one question.
Yeah.
It is not possible to implement ROC AUC curve in multiple class so that we can do for such data. Yes, ROC is possible. There's again when we'll be explaining the code, we can explain the concept. ROC is possible to implement ROC AUC curve in multiple class. It is possible. And if such kind of data set are there, we can show it. But based on the problem statement, again, based on the classification, we have to do the decision. But yes, we can do it with ROC. Okay, and how we can conclude about the outliers and missing value by Newton AI? I guess this question is for Newton AI.
No, Priya, this is not complete question, I believe. Can you please explain a bit in depth about this?
How we can conclude about outliers? If we are talking about in logistic regression outliers, you can easily understand based on the values in the models which you will be getting in the running of the code. Can tell on the thing that how this model is good than the non-linear model because the boundary condition is like sigmoid, which is clearly non-linear. We cannot say it as non-linear. That doesn't describe it as a non-linear because the sigmoid function itself has been derived from the linear regression model. That is, and the linear, if it is when I call it as linear, it explains about the straight line. Yes, Anvesh, because this model is good and linear regression is good in other way. But this logistic regression, I cannot use it for categorical data. Sorry, continuous data. Whereas linear regression, I can use it for continuous data. Now, suppose if I have to check the stock prices daily, like suppose this TCS or like Tata, if the company, if I have to check the daily progress and if I have to predict the future price, I can use regression. I need not to use logistic regression there. But the same way, when I'm using logistic regression, I can say that the Tata's shares will fall or not. Sorry, will go up or fall. This two decision I can do it with logistic regression. So this I cannot say that this which model is good. They are good in their models, and for the classification, because it has been a boundary that for linear regression it is for the prediction model, whereas logistic it is only for the binary classification. Now, if I have to say again disadvantage of logistic regression, yes, it has because it tries only with 0 and 1. Yeah, thank you. Okay, got it.
Well explained.
Thank you.
Yeah. Priya, is there any other explanation to your question? I mean, we didn't actually get the question. You want to define the outliers and the missing value on the Newton AI platform, or how is it?
Or is it the question related to competition? So, since is there some outliers or model given in the competition? Are there
Yeah, that's what I didn't actually understand the question. So that's why I just asked. Maybe Priya, you can definitely reach out to me directly on the Slack, WhatsApp, anywhere, and you can let us know. Great. So, is there any other question from you guys? We are up for it. Next 2 minutes. Yeah, Namita, that's for you.
Okay.
I think so.
Quick
Or
question.
Vivek,
What
is it
makes the
for,
logistic regression better than? What makes a logistic regression better than other models for classification problem? The sigmoid function, which is well explained with 1 divided by 1 plus e raised to minus z, and the probability here again because this statistics or the values which we use are all not exact 100%. They are accurate, I can say. So I can say that the classification, when we have the kind of problem which I explained with obese or non-obese or yes or no questions that could satisfy with logistic regression, we need not apply linear regression over there. So, and because of more outliers also, we can say that logistic regression is better compared to other models. But yes, I agree that there are for the very good models, when we can go with decision tree, again there are two classification, again we can use those models. So there are models better than that also.
I believe there are a lot of problem to problem. The models will vary. I think so.
Exactly.
Because if in some cases, like say, logistic regression works better, in those cases, I don't think SVM or say KNN will work much faster or say much better results. So I think it completely depends on data sets, or you can say the problem statement, or what kind of it's completely depending on what kind of function that you are looking for, or what kind of output that you are looking for. I think so that should be a conclusion kind of thing, that the models will definitely vary from one point to other. I mean, one problem statement to other.
What are some industrial use cases for logistic regression? Industrial, I can say that weather forecast, whether that will rain or not rain, and one is with stock. Means all the stock prices also can be used with logistic regression. That's what I gave you the example, and even we can use it for prediction of any of the how means any sales or any sale of asset can be used for logistic regression.
Yeah, and if I give a best example for this, you can say there is this data set for bank churn. I think me and Anu had practice on that. So in that case, what happened is the logistic regression gave the better result, whereas SVM, KNN, and I think we even did which one was that? Decision trees and random forest. I think logistic regression gave the best result out of all of these. So it completely depends on what kind of output that you are looking for, or what kind of data set, or what kind of prediction that you are looking for. So that completely depends on this part, that whether this model will fit the best for this part, or whether some other model will fit for that. So it completely depends on what you are looking for.
Yes, Anvesh, I agree with your point. Medicine results like cancer. You can always in medicine field, it is always used. Whether you have illness, if you don't have illness, we have the best example in the whenever people start with the concepts of regression, they come with whether they have disease, whether they don't have disease, blind spots. Yes, these are the exact industrial applications. Thank you, Anvesh.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you would like us to talk on? Maybe. So I think if there are no more questions or anything else you would like to talk, welcome Anvesh, welcome. So I think we can definitely move towards the end of the sessions. Thank you so much, Namita, for such a well explained
Thank you so much.
logistic regression part. And thank you all for attending this part, this session. So tomorrow we'll be catching up at the same time, 7 o'clock, Indian time definitely. And we'll be taking up social network ads for the logistic regression practical part. Yeah.
Yes.
So if there is any other data set that you would like us to touch on, we'll be more than happy to take up that. Okay. Thank you everyone. Thank you for being there. Thank you. Thank you, Richa. Thank you, Abhishek. Thank you, Anvesh. See you guys. Have a great day. Thank you everyone.